Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good here on this Monday. First off, look at the stats. Of course, all we've had this season is a trace of snow. That was in October. It looks like we're going to end November without a trace, so we actually will end up with more, technically, snow in October than November. Normally to date, though, 0.2 of an inch. That's going to keep going up as we hit the coming weeks. Of course, now we're getting closer and closer to the actual winter season. Cold this morning, 35 degrees. The setup really today and tomorrow is not going to be a whole lot different other than the idea it's going to get just a bit warmer. Got these high-level clouds streaming in from the north, wind from the south, kind of a cool mix flow there, and it looks like we'll end up with temperatures into the 60s today, well into the 60s tomorrow. The record high tomorrow, 73. It's going to be fine. We won't get that warm, but we may get to the upper 60s. It's a possibility, especially here in the city limits. I'm only going to show you the Euro because I think the GFS has just not had a good time with the setup this week, and Euro's been on it most of the time. It's a wave of moisture moving our way. So here's the deal: as we head into today and tomorrow, we'll have a warming setup. So warm today, warmer tomorrow. But Wednesday, there is a front that will drop in from the north, so our winds will shift around to the north on Wednesday. We're still looking dry, but because we have a wind shift, we have to battle that north wind, so we will take the numbers down a bit, but I still think with some sun mixed in there, we're going to get up there at around 60 or so for the afternoon. But as that front moves south, then this trough will then move along it and connect with it basically and kind of pass through here with the wave of rainfall, and that'll be Thursday. So I like the Euro's idea of timing of rainfall. Couldn't rut some sprinkles before sunrise on Thursday, but mainly a period of showers on Thursday. It moves out. We cool down Friday and Saturday only to normal levels. Now, there is no slight little drop here on Sunday, so we may be slow to warm here this weekend. It's not going to drop a whole lot, but we may hold steady from that drop we have on Friday, and it may be a little bit of a climb this weekend, but looks good otherwise. But then we really see a climb early next week, along with the increased amounts of moisture in the air. Got a warm, very windy southwest flow that develops that then sets the stage for a stormy pattern that we've been talking about for quite some time. Now we're seeing it within the operational model range now, starting to get a better handle on the after pattern. And what we're going to have here is a trough in the west, energy out of the west. You know, typically the Euro's real slow with it. GFS can be too fast on rolling it out. So it's going to be probably a balance of the two. So right now the Euro's thinking about the 6th or 7th. I think that's a good range for our transition to take place from a rainy, stormy pattern to perhaps a colder one. But it looks like one wave of low pressure, strong one too. Really a good first plains winter storm may develop around the 5th or 6th of the month here for Nebraska and Minnesota and the Dakotas. Something they probably are looking forward to. It's been a while, really. That will aim more north, all right? So that means we're going to be on the right entrance side of this, so we're going to get more of a south flow, maybe some thunderstorms, although there's not going to be much eastern progression of the trough, so I don't know how far east we really are talking about on the thunderstorm side of things. And then another one will develop at the base of it and roll out, and that is going to be the one, this one, that will form, that will help push the trough a little more to the east, and we see just a sign of that there in the last frame on the 7th. So I think through at least the 7th or 8th, we're going to still be in a warm pattern. And when you look at the Euro ensembles, this is the pattern all the way through about the 7th, warmer, and then here's the colder. And the cold actually works its way more east-southeast than it does generally just kind of forms. And what it's doing is that system, as it pulls out, it carves out the trough, and then you get the reinforcements. In other words, you have a trough that's like this. It'll then move over to like this as we head into, say, the 8th or 9th of the month. But as it is over us like that, you're going to get another little impulses that ride along that and dig it and reinforce it. So then you kind of carve it out more and more and more until we get rid of the blocks. The block is key on that. As long as there's a blocking, and then this carving out over and over is going to stick with us through a good 6-7 day period in mid-December here, maybe even late December. It just depends on how long that blocking can hold, and that carving process will continue. So the Euro does show ensembles a colder pattern than kicking in for the middle portion of the month as a result of that carving out feature. Even when you look at the amount of moisture, and this looks like brown is bad, but it's actually a lot of moisture here in that carving out process, and that's why I think then we got to look at the potential for winter storms and that kind of stuff, but you can't really tell much more than that really as far out. We can just tell that above normal precipitation and colder than normal temperatures. Obviously, that technically would indicate snow in your mind, but it's not a guarantee. When you look at the indices, I know this is always hard to read, but for the first time in a while, we're seeing them all light up, matching the pattern good. Arctic oscillation going negative, same thing on GFS. NAO, the blocking, go negative, same thing on GFS. This is the Euro at the top, by the way. PNA going positive, finally. and the same thing, neutral to positive on the GFS. So they're all lining up for a cold east and stormy east pattern. Even when you look at the Bering Sea roll, which I love this, which basically, not to get to that too technical, but you look at the Bering Straits here, when you head into the Bering Sea itself near Alaska, and you're talking about the weather pattern, how it translates down the road, and it mimics what the United States will look like. So if you look carefully, you can see the United States drawn over the Bering Sea, just west of Alaska there, and it shows them what the pattern would look like, say roughly around December 20th, as we get toward the first part of the winter period there. You can definitely see where it's got the colder pattern over the United States. All right, yeah, I know it looks warmer there, but again, you got to use the Bering Sea roll. And then after that, it shows that we've tried to warm things back up and the cold shifts more west. We'll see if that plays out as we head toward the last couple days of 2017. But interesting to see that in the Bering Sea roll. Kind of cool stuff to look at. There's a lot of things to look at, guys. I still think the biggest issue we're going to have, though, before we get to anything wintry, we've got to figure out these troughs and the timing of them and exactly how much eastern progression there will be, because the severe potential is going to be a concern. When you look at the dashboard, the past several runs are hinting at a busy period here in December for severe weather. It doesn't necessarily mean here, just in general, the pattern is going to be much more supportive of it than it has been. So this is an old update, though, so I'm waiting to see the new update, which will come out this evening, to see what has happened, and we'll look at that tomorrow and see what has changed there. So look at the snowboard. I'm not going to be quick on this, guys. Compared to the models, I'm going to go slower. So I think there's a chance. It says heavy, but I mean more of an accumulated snow. I probably should title that differently than heavy, but measurable snow. I think our first chance this season is showing up here near the 10th. It may be later than that, but I think the 10th is a good date to start with, and we'll trend from there. I could go faster, I could go slower with it, but I think it's going to be close to that date. Any day before then, I think the GFS is going to get too excited about, and I don't think it's going to be that quick. That's it for today, guys. We'll see how it all looks tomorrow.